The US government is a big, sprawling thing. It's a complex web of agencies, departments and offices, each with its own unique role and responsibilities. It's got more departments than a luxury department store has shoe departments. Imagine trying to navigate through all those sections without a map. But some departments are more equal than others. They hold more power, influence and responsibility. Think of them as the headliners, the main event, the Beyoncé of bureaucracy. These are the departments that everyone knows about, the ones that make the headlines. We're talking about the State Department, the Defense Department, the Treasury Department, and of course the big cheese itself, the White House. Each of these has a critical role in shaping the nation's policies and actions. These four are the power players, the ones calling the shots and shaping America's place in the world. They handle everything from international diplomacy to national defense, economic policy, and executive decisions. Now, you might be thinking, John, this sounds drier than a saltine cracker convention. And you'd be right, partially. And you'd be right, partially. But there's more to it than just endless paperwork and red tape. Government bureaucracy isn't known for its laugh-a-minute reputation. It's often seen as a maze of regulations and procedures. But stick with me, because understanding what these departments do is like understanding the instruction manual for America. It's essential for grasping how the country operates and makes decisions. And trust me, you don't want to be that guy who tries to assemble a bookshelf without reading the instructions. It's a recipe for disaster. Spoiler alert, it never ends well. So let's dive in and get to know these heavy hitters a little better. Understanding them is key to understanding the bigger picture of how the US government functions. First up, let's talk about the State Department. If the US government were a high school, the State Department would be the diplomatic kid, the one who could talk their way out of detention and into the cool kids' table. Their job? Keeping things smooth with other countries. Think of them as America's international wingman, or wingwoman, or wingperson, because diplomacy is a gloriously diverse field. They're the ones negotiating treaties, smoothing over misunderstandings, and generally trying to make sure America doesn't accidentally start World War III with a strongly worded tweet. They're also the ones who issue passports, because even global superpowers need to deal with paperwork. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. And that someone is the Secretary of State, currently Antony Blinken. More on him later. Next, we've got the muscle of the operation, the Defense Department. This is the department with the big guns, literally. Their job is to keep America safe from all threats, foreign and domestic. Think of them as the bouncers of the US, except instead of just checking IDs, they're dealing with everything from terrorism to cyber attacks to rogue states trying to build nukes in their basements. It's a big job, and it takes a lot of manpower, which is why the Defense Department is the largest employer in the US government. Leading this pack of highly trained professionals is the Secretary of Defense, currently Lloyd Austin. And yes, before you ask, he's seen every single Rambo movie, multiple times. Now, let's talk about the money men and women, the Treasury Department. This is the institution that holds the financial reins of the United States, ensuring that the economic engine of the country runs smoothly. These are the folks who control the purse strings of the US government. They make critical decisions that affect every aspect of the economy, from funding public services to managing national debt. They're in charge of printing money, collecting taxes, and making sure the US doesn't go bankrupt, which, let's be honest, is a full-time job in this economy. Imagine the pressure of ensuring that the financial system remains stable while also dealing with economic crises and fluctuations. They also get to decide whose face goes on the money, which is a level of power I aspire to. Imagine having the authority to choose which historical figures are honored on the currency that millions of people use every day. The Treasury Department is like the responsible friend in your group chat, the one who reminds everyone to split the bill evenly and maybe not order another round of tequila shots. They keep everything in check, ensuring that the country's finances are managed responsibly. Just like that friend who keeps track of everyone's expenses during a night out, the Treasury Department ensures that the nation's budget is balanced and that funds are allocated appropriately. At the helm of this financial powerhouse is the Secretary of the Treasury, currently Janet Yellen. She brings a wealth of experience and knowledge to the role, guiding the department through complex financial landscapes. She's basically the financial guru of the US government, except instead of telling you to invest in Bitcoin, she's probably more likely to recommend government bonds. Her expertise helps steer the country's economic policies and ensures financial stability. Government bonds are a safer bet, after all. They provide a stable investment option that supports the nation's financial health. So the next time you think about the Treasury Department, remember the crucial role they play in keeping the country's economy on track. Section 5. The White House, the People's House. And finally, we come to the big kahuna, the White House. This is where the President of the United States, currently Joe Biden, hangs his hat, or in his case, probably a very patriotic baseball cap. The White House is like the control center of the US government, where the President and his team make all the big decisions. They're the ones setting the agenda, making deals with Congress, and generally trying to keep the country running smoothly. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. And that somebody gets to live in a pretty sweet pad with its own bowling alley. So you win some, you lose some. Section 6. Antony Blinken, steering the ship of state. Remember Antony Blinken, our Secretary of State? He's like the captain of the US diplomacy ship, navigating the treacherous waters of international relations. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, but he always manages to keep a cool head, even when dealing with dictators, despots, and other delightful characters. He's basically the human embodiment of a diplomatic cable, all measured tones and carefully chosen words. But don't let that fool you. He's got a steel trap mind and a knack for diplomacy that would make Henry Kissinger jealous. Section 7. Lloyd Austin, at the helm of defense. And then there's Lloyd Austin, our Secretary of Defense, a man whose presence commands respect and whose decisions shape the future of our military. He's the guy who makes sure the US military is ready for anything from a skirmish in the South China Sea to a full-blown alien invasion. His strategic mind is always at work, ensuring that every possible scenario is accounted for. He's got a resume that would make even the most hardened general weak in the knees, and he's got the medals to prove it. His career is a testament to his dedication and expertise in defense. He's basically the real-life version of Jack Bauer, except instead of torturing terrorists, he's probably more likely to be found poring over intelligence reports and strategizing with his generals. His analytical skills are second to none, and his ability to foresee potential threats is unparalleled. He's a man of few words, but when he speaks, everyone listens. His words carry weight, and his insights are invaluable to the nation's security. Because they know that when Lloyd Austin talks, it's usually about something important, like national security or the proper way to fold a fitted sheet. His ability to balance seriousness with a touch of humor makes him a relatable and respected leader. Whether he's visiting troops on the ground or engaging in high-level defense meetings, Lloyd Austin's commitment to his role is unwavering. His leadership ensures that the US military remains a formidable force, ready to face any challenge that comes its way. Section 8, Janet Yellen, the Maestro of Money. And of course, we can't forget about Janet Yellen, our Secretary of the Treasury. She's the one who keeps the US economy humming along, even when it feels like the world is about to go belly up. She's got a PhD in economics from Yale, which is basically like having a black belt in money management. She's the one who tells Congress how much money they can spend, which is usually less than they want to spend. And she's the one who negotiates trade deals with other countries, which is always a delicate dance. She's basically the financial wizard of the US government, except instead of pulling rabbits out of hats, she's pulling trillions of dollars out of thin air. Section 9. Conclusion, the engine that keeps America running. So there you have it, folks. The four horsemen of the US government apocalypse. Just kidding. They're not going to bring about the end of the world. In fact, they're working hard to make sure that doesn't happen. They're the ones keeping the country running, both at home and abroad. They're the ones making the tough decisions, negotiating the tricky deals, and generally trying to keep the ship of state afloat. It's a thankless job, but someone's got to do it. So, next time you see one of these fine public servants, give them a nod of thanks. They've earned it.